This is going to sound like so much hate, and I swear it's not. Welcome back to the Warner Brothas Podcast. I'm Kyle, joined by my brother Keenan, joined by Brandon Petty, joined by Timothy Gray. Fellas, what's up?
What's going on?
Brandon has the Undertaker rise from the ground. He is back.
Yeah, we should have had Brandon
back from the dead, baby.
Listen, Brandon has been a little under the weather, but he saw what happened in the swamp on Saturday and then saw what happened in Duval on Monday, and he was like, wait a second, I'm ready to go.
I'm just riled up.
Oh, I can't blame him. Goodness gracious. His boy Trevor Lawrence stumbles into success, and then they make Arch Manning just look like Cooper Manning.
Yeah. I loved it. And all my fantasy teams won this weekend too. So I mean,
I beat Kyle in 2 leagues.
Yeah.
Tough week for Kyle.
It was an unfortunate rivalry week.
That Dynasty League, that was pretty tough this week. Like, half my team was on bye. Falcons, quite a few other players, Steelers.
Yeah.
That was rough.
I keep forgetting to check that league.
Oh, I forget as well. But
That's
I always
the league
get
I forget about the most, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. And I think it's because we did our draft in July. And then,
Honestly, yeah.
Which is
because
fine.
when
it's a startup for Dynasty, you do it whenever. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. No problem with it. It's just like when you do your draft like right before the season, you're so excited about what you just drafted. And it's a Dynasty League, so you might have drafted for 2 years out. Like, I drafted a bunch of rookies. In 2 years, my team's going to be elite. I have Hampton, Henderson, Abuka. Like, we're going to be nice. I mean, we're good now. We're going to be nice in 2 years. But, Timmy, you had a question that you wanted to post to the group.
Do have a question.
What is that?
I've already asked a couple of my friends, and it's hard to get a clear answer.
Mm-hmm.
It is too early to have an answer, I'm not going to lie, but with a Jags fan in the room, was the trade for Travis Hunter worth it, do you think?
Ooh.
Damn, you're going to make me do it.
Here, I'll give you the full package. It was this year's first, so the 5th overall, and a 2nd this year, and a 4th, and next year's first, and they got back the number 2, a 4th, and a 6th. So basically, they gave up an additional 1st and 2nd round pick to go get him.
I'm going to be completely honest with you, and this is how I feel. I think he's got to play, like, I think he needs to play receiver, like, full time. Like, I think he needs to play, like, I think he should play 75-80% of the offensive snaps, because I think him playing both ways, like, I don't think he's playing enough to really make an impact on either side of the ball. Like, I think especially that 25-30 yard catch or whatever that he had on Monday night where he went over 2 defenders, like, that's what you're going to get with him on the field. And, like, I think he opens up the offense a lot more versus having Deontay Brown and Parker Washington out there. I love him at corner, but I think right now, I think he's just a way better receiver than what he is at corner. I mean, I'm cool with him playing 75 and 25. Like, if like, I'm cool with throwing him out there for, like, big snaps on defense and big plays. But I think he should play receiver more. I do think right now, like, I definitely think we gave up a little too much. Like, I think we gave up too much at the time that it happened. I wasn't really a fan of giving up an extra 1st round pick for that.
But you were so excited to get him that, like, that didn't matter. As a fan, and you can't blame yourself as a fan. Like, when you get someone that you really like, the trade doesn't matter at the time, and then you think about it and you're like, yeah. Okay.
You're like, whatever. Like, all right, that's fine. And like I said, like, I would have been okay if it was like a 1st and like 2/3 or something.
Yeah.
Like a 1st and a 1st this year, like, which as of right now, I mean, when I came back around to it, I was like, all right, maybe it's okay, because if that 1st is a late 1st, then, you know, like, so be it. But now it's looking like it's going to be late 20s, but I'd like to play him at receiver more versus corner.
Kyle, you go, and then I'll say my thoughts.
It was a big haul for Travis Hunter, for sure. And to me, it seems like they should have had more of a plan for him before you make that trade, if you're going to make that trade. especially when, he's marketed as a two-way player. And to some degree, he was marketed as like what's going to be the NFL's version of Ohtani.
Mhm.
What I would do, what I think would be interesting, I agree with Brandon, like definitely play him majority at receiver. But it would be interesting because I feel like I heard a former NFL pro, I forget who it was, but I feel like someone I heard weeks ago say he was more ready to play corner than he was wide receiver in the NFL. It would be interesting if you played him at wideout, and then like for games when, and y'all would know this better than me, is he a cover corner? Is he like a man-to-man cover corner, or is he a zone corner?
He can do it all. He's
Okay.
Yeah,
very
he
good.
can.
Okay, so he's okay. So
He-
and in that case, what I would do maybe like play him at receiver, and then those games maybe if you got like a Justin Jefferson or like a true number one, let him shadow. Take him out of the wide receiver role, and then play him maybe 75-25 in those kind of games, right? Play him at corner. That would probably be the best way to get your money's worth for him, as far as his dynamic ability, right? And the games that it's an elite receiver, let him shadow, let him do the thing, and then let him spot here on offense. And then the majority of the time, let him play offense and let him spot on defense if need be, like what Brandon was describing. So that would be what makes the most sense to me if you want to get your money's worth.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a random comparison. He's a lighter version. Guys can correct me if I'm wrong. If you remember Brandon, you probably would know most. Does he remind you a little bit at corner of obviously not the same version, but player type of kind of like a Nnamdi Asomugha when he was at his peaker?
Yeah,
Like
he's got the
kind
same
of
build style too.
sounds
Yeah,
kind of build like they're both at 6'1", 6'2" ish. He's a little lighter than Nnamdi, but like that kind of guy who you would put on a player. He's going to be more of a ball hawkish style guy, and obviously we know him with being a receiver. Obviously his hands are really obviously very good hands as a corner. Obviously that's something that can vary for corners. He kind of feels like that kind of player. I agree with you, Kyle, in the sense of I would put him in certain situations where if you need him, use him more. But I also agree. I think offensively he benefits that team more because defensively he hasn't made the hugest impact, of course. And without him, they've been one of the 5 best defenses in the league. I mean, when you obviously the turnovers, they've been number 1. So they've been a very good defensive unit, and I don't think that they really need him on defense right now. Offensively is where they need the punch more, and I think that it will open up Brian Thomas Jr. more. Obviously, the running game is starting to help out with that, but I think that it would open him up even more if he was a 3-down receiver and then a package corner. Because I think with the corner, with wide receiver, you need to be within the play set. You need to be within the scheme of the offense because I know it's running routes and you could really give him a small route tree, but you want him to be most involved because he's electric with the ball in his hand. So if you can get him on better routes, I think that would be great. And then 3rd and 12, okay, go out there and cover whomever, and you know what to do on 3rd and 12. You're playing the pass, you're playing the sticks, and then kind of you go from there. So I think that would be that. I wouldn't call him I wouldn't say like he's like a bust or anything like that. But if you're looking at it, if that's what you're planning on doing or that's his peak, I think that you did give up a little bit too much with the first this year. If they would have gotten a first for this or a 3rd or 4th for this coming season, I would be like, you know what, he could play his way into that. But you basically traded up for him as if he was going to be a top 15 wide receiver and a top 15 corner. And then if he's not that, then that's a little much. Because like Ohtani's obviously a top 5 batter and a top 5 level pitcher. Like he can go get you a Cy Young if you just pitched all year, and you can obviously win MVP. And obviously that's all time level production on both sides of the ball. Kind of treating like early Falcons Dion. I mean, Dion played a little bit of receiver, but not like obviously all the time, but he played a little bit.
I think he'll play more because Brenton Strange got put on IR, and that was like one of our bigger receiving threats. So I do think he'll play more offensively, at least for the next 4 games.
Yeah.
I agree. Also, Brenton Strange, phenomenal blocking tight end. That's actually a pretty big loss to have right now. So totally agree pretty much with what everybody said. Right now, the trade looks kind of bad. It looks like they overpaid, but it's all of what Kyle said. They needed to have a better plan. They are primarily playing him in the slot, and they're only giving him the slot playbook, so he's not doing a lot of the outside wide receiver stuff. I'd love to
He's
see
not
him.
like a route runner like that.
I'd love
I mean,
to
not
see him
that you
get
have to
the
be a route
outside
runner in the
work.
slot, but
Yeah, and let's play him most offensive snaps, and then big moments where you're only rushing 3 or 4, you can put him in as an extra corner, and there you go.
I say play him outside and let Brian Thomas play the
There
slot.
you go.
Yeah,
I would be
he's a
perfectly
better.
fine. I like Thomas is a bit bigger, I believe. He's a couple inches taller, I think. So
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'4".
they can both succeed though. So that's what they should have done. And I mean, maybe that is the plan, and they've just tried to like slowly ramp him up. His offensive snaps have picked up a little bit. But he showed us on Monday, like he can be a very important piece in a win. He can get big plays like that, go down the field and catch a 40-yard bomb over 2 people. He can also catch a ball right at the line of scrimmage and make a couple guys miss and get you a first down out of it. And if he's going to be playing defense, he can't be doing that on offense. So if they drafted him primarily as wide receiver, then sure, you calling your shot on a wide receiver, go ahead, trade up, take this package. That's what we need to see. We need to see more utilization on the offensive side for it to work out.
I agree. I 100% agree. Does anyone have any more Travis Hunter points, or we're going to move on to this next portion? Okay. So, this is I've been kind of trying to decipher what I wanted to call it, but I'm calling it either on the verge or on a surge. And on the verge is on the downside of this team's on the verge of not like of going down, or they're on a surge, like they're going to be exceeding. And these are 3-2 and 2-3 teams. Where do you feel like they're going to trend up or trend kind of more so down? The first team I'm going to give is the Washington Commanders.
Willing to go first? I don't know if we want to keep this order and just go counterclockwise.
Yeah, whatever order you guys want to, it's fine. We'll start with Timmy, and then we'll go from there.
I think Washington is a surge team. I think before the season, we kind of counted them out, and we did this with them last year. We said,
other than Brandon,
we said, yeah,
Brandon was pumped.
A lot of analysts also counted them out. They said, yeah, they're going to regress. They're not a playoff team, whatever the deal was. We did it with them last year too. We said, oh, there's no way a rookie QB can come in and make that team a playoff team, and that's exactly what they did. And that's kind of exactly what they're doing right now. They went 1-1 without Jaden Daniels, and now he comes back and the offense looks like it can run the ball on anybody. So I think this team is going to surge. I think they're going to get healthier as the season goes on. They're just going to get better on offense, and I think they are a playoff team. And I don't think it's impossible for them to win the division the way Philly's been playing, and I think they're ahead of Dallas anyways. So it wouldn't be crazy if they win the division to me.
Okay.
Go ahead, Petty.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Surge as well too. I think with them getting healthy, mainly Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, like I think it'll really kind of open up the offense a lot more. Especially because I mean, this for the majority of the season, it's just been Deebo Samuel. Like there was obviously going to be a ramp up period with Terry too because of the holdout and the fact that he didn't really get in a whole lot of training camp time. I like the defense. I think the defense is going to be fine. I think the offense. I mean, they have 2 legit receiving threats with Terry once he comes back, and Deebo.
Debo's looked really good.
Yeah, he's gained a step. Looks like he's gained a step that he lost last year. You have Zach Ertz over the middle. I like Zach Ertz, and the run game too. Like the running game has been insane for them. Just with the gap schemes that they use and everything. So I think I like that to continue, and I think once Jaden gets healthier, then I think the offense will kind of be as good as what I was expecting, and maybe other people were expecting too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I don't have much more of an opinion on this team than I did before the season started. That's why I kind of snickered, Keenan, when you said the Commanders, because I don't have a feel for this team. I agree with what y'all are saying. Like Deebo definitely looks better than expected, especially with what they traded for him. I think Jaden Daniels looks okay. I don't think he looks great. I don't think he looks bad. I think they took advantage of an injured Chargers team, especially, the offensive line. I think they're well coached. And if you look at their health situation, I think the obvious answer is Surge, given how Jaden Daniels emerged last year, second half of the season too. But we just don't know. We really don't. I mean, that's how I feel anyway, because with CJ Stroud last year taking a step back, with second-year quarterbacks in general taking a step back, and it's not even necessarily him as much as it is their schedule and everything else. So I'm going to be honest, this is like the worst answer you could possibly give in this type of game, but it's a TBD for me because I don't feel any different than I did after week 1, after week 2, after week 3. I think they win the games they're supposed to. They haven't had an egregious loss. They they split with Mariota. That's pretty good. I mean, that's the kind of stuff they were doing last year. So in a way, they look like a vet team, and they should be a Surge. So let's put it at that. They should be a Surge, but I'm not necessarily saying that either because to me, they're still TBD for me personally. So that's that's the worst possible answer you could get in this type of game. But hey, that's what you get.
Me personally, I have them. For me, I have them on the Surge. I do think this team is going to find its footing the healthier that they do get. The thing that worried me a little bit was I didn't know what they were going to get out of Debo going into the season because he did look like he had lost a step, and then it looked like he's gained that step back. Like that's the thing that's really shocked me the most is that he's gained that step back. And running game wise, I know obviously Bill at the tailback isn't the biggest name, but when you have Jaden Daniels, he's going to give that running game even more of a push. It's the same way Lamar Jackson is going to affect that running game. Doesn't matter if you have whomever at back, Keaton Mitchell when he was there, Derrick Henry obviously now, J.K. Dobbins, didn't really matter, Gus Edwards. That rushing attack was going to be good a lot in large part due to Lamar Jackson. And I do like Luke McCaffrey as like a third option. He actually makes some timely catches when necessary. So he's just kind of one of those guys who is, if he was your 1 or your 2, you're not doing well at receiver at all. But when he's like your third option, I think that he works well. So I have them on the Surge. And then on the other hand, Timmy, we'll start with you. We'll just go Timmy, Brandon, Kyle. And the team they're playing on Monday night, the Chicago Bears, they are 2-2. And do you have them on the Surge or do you have them on the Verge?
I think they're more of a Verge team for me. I don't think they're necessarily going to get worse, but I see this team as a 500 team, so they're definitely not going to surge anywhere in my mind. I think they're going to stay pretty level here, be on the outside looking in for a playoff shot. Yeah, I do like what I'm seeing. Like there are some good parts to this. Maybe we get DJ Moore more involved and maybe we figure out a bit better of a running scenario and then they might be a surge team. But defensively, they're not very healthy. And yeah, offensively, the offenses look solid, but it's not good enough to carry them to wins. So I'll say they're on the verge. They're not going to get worse, I don't think. I think they're going to stay right where they are, like finish the season 9-8 or 8-9, 7-10, like right around that area.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. They're a Verge team for me. I think they'll hover right around 500. The running game is basically non-existent. I think DeAndre Swift is averaging like 3.3 yards a carry or something.
Exactly.
And the defense as well too. The defense is horrible. With the injuries, obviously, but it's god awful. I think they're giving up. I think they've got one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. Their pass defense is also pretty atrocious too. It doesn't help out they lost Jalen Johnson for the year. I don't really think that that's really going to change, even with the cleaner Bella help from some of the other guys that they're missing. So I think they'll hover right around 500. I think they have enough offensive talent to keep them in games. But I also think that if they play teams that can put pressure on the quarterback, then I think it's going to be a little bit of a difficult draw.
Yeah, man, I'm the wrong podcast to play this game with because it's to me it's still like preseason to me with some of these teams. And look, if the Bears can get healthy at all on defense, on top of good quarterback play from Caleb, and really this is all Caleb dependent to me. We've talked about it much before. If that defense can improve at all, and Caleb can be consistent at all, then yeah, you're going to be in an okay place. I believe I had them at 9-8 before the season. If not, I had them at 8-9. And I kind of said, like, I think my question that I posed to everybody, because I had them for the NFC North, was that basically they're going to be that team that's a bitch to play. Whether they're in the playoff hunt, outside the playoff hunt, I think they're going to be in the bubble, but they're going to be a bitch to play. They, in theory, should be that. But they've been so inconsistent with Caleb this entire time. Now you, in theory, have a better head coach. But you're 2-2. You've got wins that you should have. You took advantage of a injured Cowboys team, blew them out. Got blown out yourselves by the Detroit Lions, which should be a measuring stick game. And it was on top of being a rivalry game, you got your former coach and staff on there too, right? So that whole situation.
It's a revenge rivalry game.
So again, this is a team that is tough for me to evaluate through 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I would feel better about the Commanders than I do about the Bears, though, I would say. But I do think, like I said, preseason, round weeks 8 through 12, I think we're really going to see this team pop, especially if Caleb, becomes at least somewhat of the quarterback we think he can be, right? Like we've seen, like how we saw with Brandon's guy, Trevor Lawrence. We're finally seeing the consistent flashes. He can do that, show his athleticism. He's playing against the best offensive line probably he's had in a while. Or ever, honestly. So this, again, should be a surge team. I would lean towards them just kind of staying on the path they are and being around a 500 team, honestly. So another whack answer for you.
Something that I think is kind of funny in thinking about it, if Caleb Williams was Michael Penix's pick in the draft, we would all be happy with exactly what he is.
It's funny to think. I mean, obviously,
no. And I know, it's fair critiques and it's fair worries and doubts and all that stuff. It's all fair. But it's just funny to think that if he was just the 9th pick in the draft, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks, 3,500 yards, 88 rating last year, solid rookie season, and then you go into your second year, you're at a 97.8 rating, 8 touchdowns and 2 picks. You'd be like, okay, we're good with this. This seems like a good quarterback, the best quarterback the Bears have had in some time, since Jay Cutler right now. And we'll go on from there. But you're the one pick, and we're like, hey, you're supposed to be the second coming of the best quarterback in the league, or what we think what should be Mahomes. He's playing great right now. But yeah, I have the Bears on more of the verge. I think that this team, I agree with everybody else. The 500 roster, roughly, if you sleep on them, they're a team that can beat you. But I think the teams are going to be ready and prepared for them, and they're going to be a team where at the end of the season, you're looking at a below 500 roster that's going to give you a tough game every now. I get pretty much every game, but they have the ability to get blown out. Okay. Next team I've got is a team that the Bears did beat. It's the Dallas Cowboys, 2-1. Is this team a surge team or a team that's on the verge?
I think they're a surge team as well, which is interesting for the NFC East. I don't know if all 3 teams can make the playoffs, but I like Dak. He's been playing really good football this year, and that's without CeeDee Lamb, so I can only imagine that he potentially plays even more out of his mind when CeeDee comes back. There's a chance that Javonte is like the real deal, and he's just back from his injury, healthy and good to go. We had so much expectation for him pre-injury, so if he's fully healthy, he could still be there. He's only like 25 years old. He's young.
Yeah.
Maybe that works out for him. And this looks like one of the best signings that Jerry Jones has ever made. He might just give him a $90 million fully guaranteed contract and ruin it. But yeah, I like what I've seen out of Dallas. I would like to see a better win on their schedule. Obviously, they played Green Bay really, really well offensively. The defense looked pretty bad, but the offense looked good. If they had pulled out a win there, I would have smashed Surge, no doubt. But until we can really beat a good team, I'll be a hesitant Surge. Definitely not a Verge. I'll stay.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Timmy on that. I'm like 50% Surge on that. Mainly because I think the offense is going to be good enough to keep them in games as long as they stay healthy. Obviously, when they get CD back, like you're throwing out CD Lamb, George Pickens, and Jake Ferguson, and obviously Javonte. Javante's had like a career resurgence. He looks like he did when he came out of North Carolina. Offensive line's decent. I think if the defense is good enough to get them a couple of stops, like I think that they'll be a very good team. I think they could be a playoff team if everything goes right. But like I said, I think if it turns into a shootout, like I do think that Dallas is well equipped to be in shootouts. So I think record wise they could finish the year a little bit better than 500 possibly.
I like how Brandon said that 50% surge. That's how I probably should have worded the Commanders and Bears, because that's kind of where I was. Look, this is probably the team I'm most confident in that we got in this boat, and that 2-2, 2-1 in their case boat. I'm all the way surge with the Dallas Cowboys. I love their offense. I mean, we've called them NFC Bengals in the past. Difference is, I like some of the playmakers they have on defense. Right, the defense isn't consistent. You can throw on their defense, but if push came to shove, and we've seen defenses kind of take off in the second half of the year, I would bet on this team over the Bengals if they had a healthy Joe Burrow, as far as which defense is going to take off, as far as, which team can you depend on more. Elite offense, that's number one. You got that, you've already got a chance. And if you can get average defense out of that, you can start talking contender. This is a team we've seen in the past, sometimes make trades at the deadline. Sometimes they don't. I think I mentioned on our last pod, with the haul they got for Micah, it really wasn't a lot. I think we all would have liked more for it, but it's still enough to where you can package it and do something with it, or just use those draft picks and, get quality players for it. So not only am I buying stock in them for this season, I'm also buying stock in them for next season, the season after that. All the things I've said, I've been very critical of Dak Prescott on this podcast in years past. I'm starting to buy in. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm starting to buy in. I think he's every bit of the up-and-coming elite quarterback that y'all have been talking about. Where y'all have said he's elite in the past, and maybe I'm getting it wrong. Maybe it wasn't y'all. Maybe it was just one of them.
No. It was exactly me. We had a 30-minute conversation about Dak Prescott.
I've never said Dak's elite. I'll say
that.
No.
Yeah.
Everybody else has been agreeing with you, and I was the person who said, I think that Dak in the right situation could be a quarterback who you could get you to a Super Bowl, and you were like, Keenan, there's no way. And that was a conversation.
My thing was about that was like, sure, yeah, in the right situation, but if you're saying that, you probably don't have that extra oomph inside you that like a Tom Brady has, that maybe an Aaron Rodgers in his prime has, that Patrick Mahomes definitely has. Now I'm seeing it. Now it seems like you could just put whoever around him, and you're going to get success. Like, he looks as comfortable and as confident as I've seen ever. I'm buying in as far as Dak Prescott, elite quarterback. 2 years ago when he was getting MVP talks, getting thrown in the MVP conversation, I was personally offended. I don't know what the exact award for the MVP is, like if it's named after a player or what. If it's named after a player, I would have been personally offended for that player's family if Dak Prescott would have won the MVP in 2023. I'm not feeling that way at all. And again, I'm 100% buying stock in this team.
Okay. Me, I am right teetering. If I had to teeter, I would teeter on the Verge rather than the Surge. I think that this team is going to be similar to the Bears, but I do think because they have a little bit lighter of a schedule, that instead of being a 7-10, they'll be roughly around a 9-8 kind of team. I do worry about this defense, but the same way we felt about the Bengals last year, if Jack's going to play at this level, it was every game that they have a chance to be in because they have a quarterback playing who is playing like the best quarterback in the league, regardless if he is or not. So I have him I'm going to teeter on the Verge rather than the Surge aspect of it, but I think this team's going to be a difficult out for opponents week in, week out.
Hey, let this team find their footing on defense. It's gonna be
that's the thing. If they're able to put them like the same thing as we said with the Bengals going into the season. If they have a middle of the pack defense, this team has the chance to be a contender. Do I think they can have a middle of the pack defense? Right now, I don't. But
they at least got
I also do agree with you, Kyle. There are more names on this defense than there are on the Bengals defense that you would feel more like. There's really Trey Hendrickson and some other guys on the Bengals defense, And then on this defense and Cowboys defense, there's a little bit more names. So I just don't think this defense is going to get to the middle of the pack. In my personal,
we've seen it happen. It's usually, honestly, through 5 weeks, it's usually, unless your defense is elite, too early. Unless your defense is all the way elite or all the way bad, it's usually too early to like judge.
Yeah, the
whereas they
Ravens
have to tell
last year were terrible to start the year, and then they became a top 5 defense towards the end of the year. So, like, it's but I mean, the Ravens have better personnel. But, like, I'm just saying it's possible to not be good and to be then good. I mean, the Patriots, as you well know, Kyle, there are some years where the Patriots started the year having horrendous defense. And then by the end of the year, obviously, they had Bill Belichick, and you clean it up. It's like, oh, that's top 10 scoring defense in the league. We're chilling.
By the way, NFL MVP is called the Joe F. Carr Award. So, yeah, had Dak won it in 23. Joe F. Carr and his family. If Joe F. Carr's passed away, if he's deceased, he would have been rolling over in his grave.
Yeah.
If.
Yeah. All right. Next, we're going to go with the Seattle Seahawks, a 3-2 team. They just had a regular season classic with the Bucks. A fun game. Great jersey matchup as well. Timmy, what are your thoughts?
Great matchup for the jerseys, but Buccaneers jerseys are way nicer.
I do love those Bucks jerseys.
Those Bucks jerseys, they're my favorite jersey. They're better than the Phillies. They're better than Seattle's. Denver, when they do their throwback or whatever, those Bucks ones are just top tier. I'm surging. This is definitely a team that I think easily make the playoffs. They're in a pretty tough division, so I don't love that, but I still think that they have playoff hopes here, and I think they are going to make the playoffs. Sam Darnold's playing really, really good football. He's actually like the best deep ball throwing quarterback right now. I believe the stat is 84% of his deep balls are catchable, which damn good for a deep ball. That's really hard to do. So
yeah,
Jackson Smith is killing it.
What's his last name, Tim?
You got it. And then
you got it.
The running back combo is working out well. It seems like every other game, the other one just goes off and scores and does really well. So I like this. I think they do need to button up some stuff on the defense, become a little bit more shut down, which they can. I do believe in the personnel on their defense. They just got to get it figured out. And I think McDonald can do it. So surge. I guess I'm just going to be surging on all the teams. So
nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
I'm all the way up. I'm going to agree with Sir Timothy here on this one. We're surging for the Seahawks, baby. I think Sam Darnold has actually been better than expectation this year, which is like kind of crazy because like going from the situation with Minnesota to right now, like he didn't on paper didn't look as great. Obviously it was just Jackson Smith and Jigba. And Cooper Kupp. Like you don't have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison anymore. Love the running game. I love Kenneth Walker. Zach Charbonnet is like okay. Like I think he's just like a very inefficient back. I think they would be better if they give Kenneth Walker majority of touches. That's also coming from somebody that owns Kenneth Walker fantasy. But you know what am I going to do? So I love their defense. Devon Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen, Kobe Bryant, the football player, not the basketball player. They got some good pass rushers. Obviously, is it Leonard Williams, Boye Mafe? Like I love their defense. They've shown a lot of flashes of being like a top tier defensive unit this season. And I really do think that like if they get a little bit more technically sound, like I do think they have on paper, I think they have enough for a top 5 unit, maybe top 7 at the absolute worst. And if Sam Darnold can just keep playing like good, clean football, like I think they could be a playoff team. Like I think if they catch on fire, I think they could be a playoff team. So I'm surging with the Seahawks.
I think I'm there too. Darnold, much like what Brandon said, Darnold has already exceeded my expectations. I thought he was at least going to come back down to earth a little bit. That offensive line's a little better than I thought as well. But if Darnold really is that consistent, it wasn't an aberration last year, and it wasn't just KOC in the gang last year, and Darnold's like really like just surging himself in his career, that's a steal than, trading for him, getting rid of Geno, they signed him, traded Geno. That's going to look like an all-time decision from that front office, honestly. And, this is the whole reason why everyone was so excited, NFL fans, people in NFL circles, whatever, that the Seahawks got Mike McDonald last year to replace Pete Carroll. The defense looks good. The defense looks tough. If the offense is going to look this consistent, the sky's kind of the limit with this team as far as years going forward. And they could put the fear of God in many teams if this is the Seahawks we're going to see going forward. Heard y'all talking about the uniforms at the beginning. What's funny is I guess once the Buccaneers moved on from the orange uniforms, everybody thought those were the worst uniforms of all time. And maybe it was their home ones that were just straight orange, but the white ones look so cool.
A lot of people hate those uniforms.
What's up?
A lot of people hate those uniforms.
A lot of people do, yeah. And
I love them. Those creamsicle jerseys.
The white
chef's kiss.
The white and orange look clean. And then the Seahawks jerseys always look dope, especially the throwback. So I like the Seahawks ones a little bit more, but yeah, that was one of the best jersey matchups we've ever had. Straight up.
Mm-hmm. And that was so fire. I have them actually. We're agreeing on a lot of this stuff, but I have them surging as well. I think that if you're going to get Sam Darnold completing 73% of his passes and being a top 10 quarterback right now in the league, you're going to be just fine, especially because I think they have enough offensive pieces with a defensive head coach and the defensive personnel. I do think that this team's difficult. And they're going to be competing for the division, and don't let them win the division because no one wants to go to Seattle in January.
Yeah.
No.
That crowd doesn't understand what regular is. They're always loud and obnoxious.
They're that way in the
rowdy.
What's crazy to me is
like commercial.
So far we've all kind of agreed on surging for Cowboys, Washington, where we're pretty much there. Seattle, those three in particular. LA, San Francisco, Detroit, Green Bay. What teams don't make it? That's 7 teams right there. 3 of those teams can't make the playoffs.
And
4 of those teams.
That's kind of why, Tim, what you just said is why I was so hesitant with the Bears and Commanders in particular, because they're by default on the outside looking in for me. And if you gave me gun to my head,
the Cowboys are on the outside looking in for me personally.
Yeah, no, I would right now. I mean, you kind of got it with my answer. I would take the Cowboys over the Commanders when it comes to the NFC East. Right? I think Philly's gonna eventually win that division. But if you gave me one to really put the fear in it, it would be the Cowboys. The Cowboys just look way more organized than I was expecting. I didn't know what to expect from Schottenheimer. The defense, okay, that could come along, and if it doesn't, all right. But that offense is way too serious for us not to take it serious. Feel me? So that's kind of where I'm at. But, like Tim said, when you got Green Bay, Detroit, the 49ers who are winning injured right now, it's really hard to pick one team out of the teams you've given us to really surge. And again, that's why out of all of them, the Cowboys got probably the best unit out of all those teams that I could pick. And then Seattle, they're probably the most well-rounded out of all those teams that you gave me. But yeah, Cowboys would be the one. You still got a few more teams, I'm sure, but Cowboys would be the one.
Yeah, no, you're right, NFC. Timmy. It's going to be a bloodbath when it comes to the NFC. We're going to get to some AFC teams here in just a moment, but it's going to be a bloodbath because there's legitimately, we haven't even mentioned the Vikings, who are a legitimate team.
We could have 2 10-win teams not make the playoffs, which we saw last year. The Seahawks didn't make the playoffs at 10 wins.
Yeah,
but there could be more than 2. It could be 3 or 4 10-win teams that don't get there.
In the NFC West, we got San Francisco. We got San Francisco, Seattle, and we got Los Angeles. We got Tampa. We've got Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota. We've got Philly, Washington, and Dallas. That didn't even mention the Falcons, who are such a 50-50 team that they could figure it out. And that didn't mention the Bears, who, if they get hot a little bit, that they could do something. The NFC is just a gauntlet, and it's going to be fun down the stretch.
It's 10 teams for sure, 12 that you could make a case for, that all have to fit into 7 playoff spots. So
yep. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But yeah, again, don't let Seattle host a playoff game, because if the Lions end up winning the division and Jordan Love has to go to Seattle,
It's going to be rowdy.
my
The
goodness
NFC playoffs are going to
gracious.
be nuts. I cannot wait.
They're going
As much
to
as
be
I hate that
insane.
time of the year, because it's like, all right, it's almost over. It's also the best time of the year. It's going to be a gauntlet for everybody. Which, you know what that means,
So-
Keenan? That usually means we're probably going to end up with someone that's not the 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah,
If it keeps trending this way.
yeah, it's going to be someone random. We're now going to move to the AFC. Brandon, did you want to talk about this AFC team first? I know you've got to get out of here a little early.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good. I'll go. I'm good for a little while longer.
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about the reigning defending AFC champion team, 2-3, the Kansas City Chiefs. Is this team surging or is this team on the verge?
I don't really know what a surge would be. They're gonna be a playoff team. I think so.
So the surge is comfortably in the playoffs, and a team that's going to look like a contender would be for what the Chiefs.
I don't know about that contender status, but to me, they're a playoff team. They're gonna make the playoffs, I think. It might not be a win in their division to get into the playoffs, but I don't see a world where they don't make the playoffs unless Mahomes gets hurt or something.
Yeah, we take out hurt.
Mahomes is quietly, very quietly having a very good season this year.
He's balling.
A lot of people aren't like, they don't want to give him the credit for it, but he is like balling. And he's also the team's leading rusher. He's on pace for like 700 rushing yards this year. That's a problem. So they got to figure that out. Keenan, you've always brought up Alvin Kamara. What about
Kenneth Walker?
Breece Hall?
But
That's somebody that can be moved. He's
Breece
young.
Hall, yeah.
He's a second round guy, so he doesn't have the 5th-year option. Go give
Same
up
thing.
a 3rd or a 4th and get a younger guy that could actually be there for the long term. I think that's a better play than Kamara, because with
I
Kamara,
agree too.
you're trading for a big contract. With Breece, you're not. You're getting the rookie deal, and then you're signing him to a deal. So,
Then you have Braylon Allen, who's in that spot now, who can. I know he's on IR right now, but the Jets aren't looking to go win a bunch of games. I do think Breece Hall was another one. That was a guy that Brandon asked if he was going to get traded before the season, who he kind of brought around. That could be something. But Brandon, you go. Kansas City Chiefs, surge or verge?
I'm gonna go with surge. Like I think they will make a move for running back. Like, and honestly, they might have their running back on the roster already. It might be Rashard Smith.
Yeah,
Like,
I do like what I'm seeing from him. He's got some pop.
like Matt Nagy said he wanted to get him involved more. It obviously didn't happen. Like, it's going to be a slow involvement. But like Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, they're just not doing it. I agree with Timmy. Like, Patrick Mahomes being your leading rusher, that's a big problem within itself. I do think as Xavier Worthy gets healthy, and I think especially too with Rashee Rice coming back, I think it'll probably be Worthy, Rice, and Tyquan Thornton. And I think maybe Hollywood Brown. I think they have 4 good quality receivers. I think they'll be able to really just spread the ball out. I mean, they're taking deep shots. Like, I'm thinking when Rashee comes back, that's going to open up the middle. Teams are going to start funneling down up underneath because you want to stop Rashee Rice because he's so dangerous at the catch. Then that's going to open up the deep shots. I do think they'll make a room for a running back. I'm thinking Kamara. I think that's probably the most realistic option. There's already kind of like a trend there where Kendre Miller's starting to take over. I think they can get him for a mid-round pick. If not, I do like Breece Hall. I mean, if not, there's other quality running backs that you can get that are probably going to be better than.
Still think Dylan Sampson would be a fine option too. Just go and poach a real young guy who can develop in there, because Judkins looks really good, and he's just going to continue to keep taking that spot. I think Sampson could be a guy because they already have Jerome Ford too.
And I mean, why not go get a contract year guy? Why not go get I don't know if they trade him, but like a Kenneth Walker. He's due for a contract. I mean, like if they traded for somebody like him, or like you said, Breece Hall, like I think someone like that, that'd really pay dividends for him. I think with Spags there still, I think the defense will get it figured out. And I think mainly the offense. I think eventually the offense is going to get back up to par to that Kansas City standard that we think of. So I think there's a
surge by default. By the
I was
way,
excited to hear your answer. Not gonna lie.
I gotta say, before I get into the Chiefs, by the way, I think the record for like when Brandon before a podcast is like, "Hey guys, I only got like a half hour." The amount of times he goes over the amount he says is like undefeated. It's always an over. It's never
Never
not a
lost.
I got about another 15 in me.
Never lost.
15,
You
20.
can always bet the over on Brandon actually getting out on the time he says it's going to be earlier. Yeah, man, with the Chiefs, like they're surged by default with Rashee Rice coming back, and the fact that Tyquan Thornton looks like really good with Pat Mahomes. On top of you getting Hollywood Brown, he was out for a lot of last year, all of last year, I think, pretty much, and he looks decent. If that's your foursome with Rice, with Worthy, with Thornton, and Hollywood Brown, you got a pretty good quarterback in Patrick Mahomes there to throw him the ball. So you'll probably be all right. Like number 15, he can throw the ball a little bit.
Pretty good.
He's pretty good. So like
A little bit.
He's decent.
all right.
pretty good
Okay,
quarterback,
like-
Patrick Mahomes. So you know,
Pretty good ball player.
pretty good ball player. So yeah, I mean, you kind of bet the surge. I'm more in line with Tim though. Like playoff team. I don't know if this is a division winner, but they've got the look. Even in a loss against Jacksonville, which was the most Jacksonville win ever, with Trevor Lawrence stumbling into the end zone.
His offensive lineman actually stepped on him. I do want
That's
to say
true.
that.
That's
the
true.
offensive lineman
That's
actually stepped
true.
on his right foot.
That's
They
true.
stepped on him, and Jacksonville normally there would just crumble and let him get obliterated. But they held firm. That was a big deal, that all 5 of them held their blocks enough for him to get up twice and scramble in.
Good thing they didn't have Chris Jones running after the quarterback. He was just standing
Yeah,
off to
I
the
know.
side.
Yeah, he didn't know what the
It's
hell
like,
was
oh,
going
y'all
on.
got him.
But
Okay,
Something
y'all got
happened.
him.
yeah, you got to pick surge by default with this team. They'll probably be okay. That being said, I mean, if the Chargers can find a way to get their offensive line healthy at all in the coming weeks, the fact that they've already got one win against them, Denver's coming off a signature win. It's going to be tough, right? Well, not Oakland, but Las Vegas doesn't look as good as we thought. So that could just be wins for them, even though they seem to play Kansas City well no matter what. But it's still gonna come down to that division. If they end up actually going under 500, which is possible in this division, or even drawing even, it's possible they're just a bubble team and miss the playoffs. So you wouldn't bet that, you wouldn't expect that, but it's possible.
So this team is going to be a surge team to me, and it's because they're in the AFC. If you told me that they have the exact same schedule and they were just in the NFC West, I would say this team would be the Verge team. And it's because I think that 9-8 can get you into the playoffs. And once you're in the playoffs, betting on against Mahomes and Andy Reid is difficult because that's a one-game situation. They can muster it up. And so that's why they're a surge team to me, because I mean they're 2-3 right now. They beat a beat-up Baltimore team, and they beat the Giants team. They looked very impressive against Baltimore. They didn't look impressive against the Giants. And
So did the Texans, though. Texans looked impressive.
No. So did everybody. No, everyone has looked, other than the Browns, have looked super impressive against Baltimore. So that's my point. But they did look. I'll give them credit. They looked impressive offensively and defensively. Against the Jags, they looked pretty good. They just looked like it was 2 good teams playing, and the Jags made more plays. So, I'm not going to take that game away from them, but it does hurt them because they did have the chance of being tied in the division with the Broncos and the Chargers, and now they're a game back. And their next 6 is Detroit, Vegas, Washington, Buffalo, Denver, Indy. So the thing is, they could, if they need to be 500 over that stretch, they need to just be 500 after that stretch, because then they got Dallas, Houston, the Chargers, Tennessee, Denver, and Vegas. Obviously, it lightens up a bit, but it's still not easy. Like, that Dallas game's not an easy game on Thursday night. Actually, I think that's Thanksgiving. My bad. That is on Thanksgiving. You're right. They do play Thanksgiving against Dallas. And then they have Houston, the Chargers. So, it's going to be a very interesting end to the season, but I do think they're going to make the playoffs because by default it's hard to find 7 really good teams right now in the AFC.
Can I push back on something, though?
Sure.
I'm actually not mad at their running back room. I actually don't mind the trio. I think Pacheco in particular is going to pop off the more the season goes along, whatever that looks like for him. But with, what is
He
it,
better.
Rashad Davis, right?
Rashad
Smith.
Smith.
I think he's got enough pop to where that's okay. When you got Kareem Hunt as old as he is as a goal line back, Pacheco looked more solid than he has this week, as generic as it was. Him and Hunt both had some 20-plus yard runs this week. Where I would go, honestly, in the trade market, I would look for a pass rusher rather than someone at running
They
back.
need both, but yeah.
They need both,
agree.
but like I think you can get enough in the postseason with that running back room. Especially when you figure like last year we didn't really love how the passing game looked. Their passing game with those 4 receivers, they're going to be okay. They're going to have no problems moving the ball. And I don't think they're going to have any problems on short yardage with the backs that they have. And they've shown to protect Mahomes a little bit, right? It looks a little better than last
Simmons
year.
has been good so far.
I would put my eggs in the pass rusher basket personally because the defense is already still pretty good. It looks better than week 1 against the Chargers where everyone was running open. They're still as tough as ever. They still get Spagnuolo, who's probably the best defensive coordinator in the league. I would put my eggs in the pass rusher basket because you got enough. And you can go get a running back at any time. You don't even need to go get a Kamara. You can just get someone on the cheap if you really need to. I would go for a pass rusher personally.
I think they need a pass rusher. I do think a back would help them, but I mean, you're going to have You're going to have Kareem Hunt for third down. You're going to have Pacheco, hopefully can run fine on first down, and then you're going to have Smith on any long yardage play. So they're going to have a trio, and then they'll have Mahomes running. They're going to try to do what the Patriots did of 2015-ish, where their run game at times was just a short pass game. Where it was really first down, it was like, let's throw it's a screen game, it's the drag routes, it's that to try to, the surefire completions that are going to get you 3-4 yards. They're kind of going to try to make that the run game. All right, I got 3 more teams. I am going to stay in the AFC West, and the next team is the Chargers. And the Surge or the Verge?
I'd like to say Surge, but they are just really getting unlucky with injuries. The line is kind of at a disadvantage without Joe Alt there. And Amarian just went down after Najee already went down. I'd like to get a little bit more info on Amarian because they said he was going to miss 4 games, but they still haven't put him on the IR, so I don't really know what that means.
He's officially on IR.
He is now.
Yeah, he's on IR right now.
He's officially on IR now.
So, never mind. I'll actually slip them to Verge because I think that does hurt them a little bit. If they drop 2 or 3 games here, it's going to be tough. Maybe they can still make the playoffs, but they got some stuff to fix. So I'm not as happy with how they've played the last 2 games as I was the first 3. So that's my take. I'll be in the Verge, but kind of teetering towards Surge.
Yeah, I'm about 75% Surge here. Obviously the running back room has definitely taken a big hit. You're now operating with Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal as your kind of 1-2 punch it back. I think they have enough on offense though to compete. Like I think the defense is going to be solid. Like I think it'll be a top 15, top 18 unit. I just think they need to let Justin Herbert drop back and throw the ball 40 plus times a game. Like I really think that's what the cure is here for them. I think you drop it back. I think Ladd, QJ, and Keenan all need 10 plus targets a game. Like
I do need 10 targets a game. You're right.
Like let Quentin Johnson go deep. Like whoever, I don't care. Get him the ball over the middle. Get Ladd the ball over the middle. Get Keenan the ball over the middle. Like you don't need a run game when you have a trio like that. So I think once they get healthy, I think especially once they get Amarian back, and then once Joe Alt's healthy, I know he didn't practice today. He still has an outside shot of playing this week. I do think I think they'll be fine. I think that it's going to take them a little bit of time, though. Maybe I do still like them as a playoff team.
I actually have this team on the Verge. I am a little worried with the injuries. I'm worried about how they have been playing. This doesn't feel like the same old Chargers, but I don't love it. The thing that is going well, that they do have going for them, is they have not an easy schedule, but a lighter schedule right now. They have Miami. It's going to be ones that you're going to have to play well and buttoned up, but they're games that they can win. They have Miami, they have Indy, that's going to be a tough one. Minnesota, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville. So they're winnable games. They're not easy games by any means. You still have to come in, you got to execute. But yes, you got to get it done. So you got to get it done for this team right now. But they're a team for me that's on the verge. We're actually going to stay here still in the AFC.
Skip.
What?
We're just gonna skip the brothers.
Oh, we're gonna skip. Sorry, we're gonna skip Kyle. I forgot. My bad, Kyle. I don't like you.
That's
I just don't like you.
anti-light skin discrimination right there.
Anti-light skin discrimination. Hell yeah.
I just don't like you. It's fine.
So, this Chargers team, by the way, Verge still seems a little too positive for me. I feel like we gotta switch it up to Purge or something.
I told you I didn't love the name.
So if we're going Purge or if we're gonna keep it Verge, whatever we're gonna call it, I think for right now at this very moment, you got to put the Chargers in that category, especially since there was 2 winnable games that they were both banged up in against the Giants and against, who was it this past Sunday?
Washington.
The Commanders.
Commanders, yes. 2 winnable games. The reason why you would bet on the Surge though is strictly Harbaugh. He usually can figure these kind of things out. They've got obviously a great talent at Justin Herbert at QB. I agree with Brandon. Just kind of let him go and just sling it with these receivers. It seems like they've gotten away from that for the first 2 weeks. That's all they wanted to do. And it seemed like they got conservative, especially in weeks 3 and 4, which I understand with their offensive line, especially now being down 3 starters. So it'll be very interesting to me to see what their point of attack is going forward, what their focus is on offense going forward. But I think Harbaugh will figure it out. But if I got to choose 1 through 5 weeks, I'm going to go with Verge/Purge.
Okay. Since I didn't like Kyle, but we can. I alluded to what we're going with, the Denver Broncos. Another 3-2 team. Surge or Purge?
I'll take the Surge. They had a pretty nice win this weekend. The defense is real. We've kind of always said that. I don't think anybody's ever doubted their defense. And the offense, the playmakers are making plays. J.K. Dobbins looks good. Cortland Sutton looks good. Bo Nix is doing pretty much what he needs to do to win football games. And you put it all together, they're a playoff team. I would absolutely be surging right now for them.
I like it.
Yeah, they're Surge for me too. I think they have so much talent. Obviously, like Timmy said, J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey's a quality backup. I do think he'll get maybe a little bit more involved as the year goes on with Dobbins having a 1-year deal. I like the defense. They have a ton of talent on defense. And sometimes it can take these guys a couple weeks to mesh, especially with new players and with young players, rookies. I do like Bo Nix as a quarterback. I think Sean Payton also will figure it out and kind of get that offense rolling even more. So I have the Broncos in the Surge. I think it's the easy Surge.
Yeah, Surge for me as well. This was my division
team.
This was my division winner, and this was the first week I really could envision it. You know what I mean? So I think this was the team that Sean Payton envisioned in the preseason when he was you rarely hear coaches big their team up the way they do to the media, right? You hear positive things in training camp and all that, but Sean Payton from I think Super Bowl week on was bigging up this team, and honestly, a way I've never seen a head coach do it. So
top 7 team he's ever coached.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this was Sean's vision. This was Sean's vision right here. What we saw,
Sean Dunn.
what we saw against the Eagles on Sunday. So this is Sean Payton's vision. If this is the team we're going to see going forward, then yeah, this is the team that should put the fear of God in Kansas City, especially if again the Chargers can just be competitive, which we all think they will be. So yeah, this is the main reason, which would be that if you're picking against the Chiefs, it would be because the Broncos are surging.
Yeah, I feel like you have to have them on the surge side of things. It really comes down to, can Bo Nix play consistent football at quarterback? I mean, he has played consistently throughout his entire career, but I know people still feel as if they don't trust him, and I think it's just because of the profile of Bo Nix. Rather, like if Bo Nix had
he lacks explosiveness. Is that what I think it is?
Yes. Yes, there's the explosive, but he does everything fine. He reads defense as well. He can run an offense well. He does have mobility. There's nothing he really can't do. It's just he doesn't give you those wow plays that Justin Herbert gives you. That what we talk same draft class, what Caleb has the ability to do, because even Caleb still has the ability to throw some throws off platform. You're like, man, that is just kind of an elite throw. Not many people can do that. It's what Trevor Lawrence to Brian Thomas Jr. You look, you're like, oh, he's got that still in his bag. Like that's not an easy play, and that's where you get the hype and the hope with Trevor Lawrence. But Bo Nix just comes in there, plays solid football, is going to play fine. He needs to cut down on the stupid turnovers, because sometimes he does have those kind of bonehead. What was that? But if he does that, I think this team definitely is a playoff contender and a team that people are going to be scared of. So I have them on the surge.
You know who Bo Nix kind of reminds me of just a little bit, and maybe he's a bit smaller in size than this QB. He reminds me a bit of Alex Smith.
Yeah, I see it, because Alex Smith was just a really solid quarterback that was going to get the job done, was an underrated scrambler and runner.
Yeah.
And
more of a playmaker than people gave him credit for was Alex Smith, and Bo Nix is very much that.
And hopefully his leg can get better, because golly, that's how I picture that thing like a month ago. That still looks disgusting.
The thing is hideous.
Oh my goodness gracious! I'd only wear pants. Like I'd shower with the one leg sleeve. That thing looks disgusting, and I feel bad for the man.
Leg sleeve is crazy.
Shower with the one leg sleeve. All right, and the last team that we're going to talk about tonight is the New England Patriots, the 3-2 Patriots on the surge of the Purge.
This one I think might be the toughest one for me. I think I'm going to say Verge. But their schedule says surge. Like, they should win a good amount of games coming up. It's just so early. Like, they don't really use Travion, but they do use Ramondre, even though he fumbles. And then the defense is like middle of the pack at best. So I just don't see the upside. But the schedule, they should walk into the playoffs with this schedule. So I'm still on the Verge. I think if the surge means they make the playoffs, I'll say they're on the Verge. They're on the Purge. They're not going to make the playoffs.
Question for you, Tim. Did you unmute that just by touching the mic?
Sure did.
Wow. That's almost.
He's been doing that though. So he's been doing that for months now.
Ever since I've always done this. The mic is usually just tucked over here or something.
That's almost as cool as the time Brandon did the thumbs up and then activated the screen with doing the thumbs up. Top two moments.
Still don't. I remember that. I haven't done it since.
Me and Tim were
I don't want to get the screen all activated.
Hey, what?
I had no clue Brandon was magic.
Snap my fingers.
Do you step?
You can do it all by yourself. I have the Patriots at a subverge, kind of like 50-50.
Submerge?
Yeah. Submerge the verge of the Purge. It's confusing. I think Drake May is a baller. I think Drake May is awesome. Obviously he proved it with the Buffalo game. I love what Stephon Diggs is doing. The running back room is definitely kind of interesting because Ramondre, you got the fumbles, and Ramondre is just not very efficient either as a runner. And I think Trayvon's way more explosive. I don't know what that backfield is going to look like here in 4 or 5 weeks. Obviously, with Antonio Gibson tearing his ACL, I think the defense is decent. I do think that there's definitely a realistic chance that New England's a playoff team. I think I think they got to get one of the backs going, regardless of who it is, and I think a secondary receiver has to step up. I'm thinking maybe like a Kyle Williams, somebody like that, like a kind of post bye, or their bye's week 14, so can't really call it that, but like maybe like a mid-season kind of like, I guess, mini breakout or whatever that you typically see for rookie receivers. I just think one more option besides Hunter Henry kind of like has to step up. But I am encouraged, especially after the Bills game. Like, I'm definitely encouraged. But I'd like to see a few more things. But I also would be surprised if they made the playoffs.
First and
That's very
foremost,
interesting,
let me
like
just
Kyle.
say everything I've said about Stephon Diggs going into the season, let me take that back. I did not think he could still be this productive. No way in hell did I think he could be this productive. Like Tim said, you got to say Surge based on their schedule. This should be a playoff team, especially coming off this win. If they lose this game, they're a bubble team. The fact that they won this game, and if you would have gave me a game for them to beat the Bills, it would have been at home. And I think it's like week 12 they face them.
Even later, I think it's like 14, 15. But yeah, they play in December.
Yeah, I would have picked that game before the season, like whenever I would have picked that game, because that's when I think this team's really going to pop. I still don't think they're playing well. Keenan, you made a comparison earlier with Travis Hunter to Nnamdi Asomugha. We just made a comparison with Bo Nix and Alex Smith. The Patriots remind me a little bit of the Jacksonville Jaguars as far as like the mistakes they'll make, as far as how great they can look on a given play. I think they're the diet Jacksonville Jaguars when it comes to just how helter-skelter they can be. I could not believe the reaction after that game. Like, the amount of people who were like, I straight up saw people say Drake May is going to be the face of the league. I've never in my life seen a Patriots team or a Patriots player get that much praise. It was unreal. And don't get me wrong, like, he made some baller ass plays, especially with the stiff arm, getting rid of the ball and hitting Diggs. That scramble to the right, hitting Diggs downfield, that was an all world throw. Like, don't get me wrong.
Poetry in motion.
But I couldn't believe I was like, they're talking about the New England Patriots. They're talking about Drake May. Like, they're talking about him like this. I couldn't believe it. I'm not as sold as the football public, apparently, on this team. I think they're lucky to be 3-2 at this juncture. The fact that they are with this upcoming schedule, that is such a confidence boost for them to win that game against the Bills. Drake and this team should take off. Like, that alone should give you the confidence to just not fumble the ball, not get stupid penalties in the game. That's the type of win that makes you become, from an inconsistent team to a real legit team. And I think that's what's going to happen, especially since you got Mike Vrabel at coach. That being said, week 6, 7, 8, I think we'll still see some inconsistency. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a hiccup in one of these games. That looks like an easy win. Definitely not the Titans game. Let's get that out the way right now. But, I could see them.
Vrabel has that game circled in Tennessee. Ooh,
yeah, Tennessee's
boy.
Generational Brian Callahan hater here.
Yeah,
boy.
Yeah. Generational Brian Callahan hater. But yeah, no, I mean, you got to pick Surge based on their schedule, even though I don't love what I've seen through the first 5 weeks.
So I had the Patriots going into the preseason at 3-2 or possibly could be 4-1 at this stretch. My loss was to the Bills, but I thought they would beat the Raiders week 1. So, and the reason why I have this team on the Surge is because I think that a lot of the things that they have done wrong thus far are correctable. It's not Stephon Diggs looks better than I even expected, but I thought that Stephon Diggs could be close to an 1,000-yard receiver just because he was even on pace for 1,000 last year, and I thought that would give him give Drake May the opportunity to have a guy who could at least get open 3rd and 7. He knows where the sticks are. He knows how to get open. So I thought that was going to help out. You're right, Brandon. I do think they need a number 2. I like their running back room. I just think that they need to utilize it better. Like, I don't think they need to get better. I just think they have what they need. They just need to utilize it better. And then defensively, I do think they'll get better the more and more Christian Gonzalez plays and gets back into shape. I think that will really help turn the defense into the upper echelon of the league. Not it's going to be a top 5 unit, but it could at least be in the top 15 of a unit. So in that higher portion of the league rather than being a bottom defense. So I had this team on the verge. I think if they're 6-2 and they win the next 3 games, which they'll be favored in all 3 games, most likely to win, I will be super impressed and excited. I expect them to be 5-3. I expect one of these, the Saints game or the Browns game, that they're going to have a little hiccup and they probably will make some stupid mistakes and win a game that they should, or lose a game they should win. But if they are 6-2 going into this Falcons, Bucks, Jets stretch, oh boy. The division is out. I'm just kidding. I think the Bills are stuck at the division. I still got the Bills at 14-3 or roughly 13-4. But as Kyle said when we got Cam, Chiefs are coming to us.
I was so confident. I was so confident.
Chiefs are coming to us. I was like, God, wait a second.
It was like June too. It wasn't even like
it was literally the day we got Cam or the day after, and you're like, Chiefs are coming to us. I was like, I don't know if we're doing that well.
Little did I know the coronavirus would wipe out our team, and that Cam was eventually going to be washed.
And I was like, I think the Bills are better. You're like, you think Sean McDermott and Josh Allen are better than Bill Belichick and Cam Newton, a former MVP?
Which is valid feelings. I still remember after week 2, after week 2 when they stopped us at the goal line in Seattle, people beside me that know the NFL way more than me were talking Patriots Super Bowl.
No, people were super confident because they're like, this defense is going to be good, and if Cam looks like this team could be legitimate. No, it's just it's funny to look back on because obviously hindsight's 2020, but like at that time, yeah, no. And that was in our every year the Patriots could go 16-0. That's how we talked about after last pod, but we're not going to get on the Patriots dive here.
Yeah, we'll talk about the past one some other day.
Yeah, we'll have to have a full pod on the Patriots just one day. But all right, that was all I have for that. It took a little longer than expected, so we're gonna cut it there because we don't really need to get into the other section. We'll get into kind of the other stuff as we talk about the teams when we do our picks later on in the week. But if does anyone have any lasting points? Brandon, thank you for staying on a little longer. We know you got to get up early, but thank you for staying on a little longer, having fun with this. And Timmy, you got something?
Thursday night football, baby.
Yes. Thursday night football. He's right. We've got the Eagles heading to the New York Football Giants. They are 7.5-point favorites. The Eagles, that is, are. What are your guys' thoughts on this game? Who wins and what is the score of said
Where's the game at?
It is in New York.
East Rutherford or West Rutherford, whichever.
East
side
Rutherford.
Of Rutherford.
You got to go over the bridge.
Over the bridge.
Yeah. Turnpike.
Over Route 3, I believe.
I think we're in for a snooze fest of a Thursday night game. I don't know. Like, I have a hard time seeing New York's offense kind of keeping up with Philly. Like, I think Philly should be able to stop them pretty easily. Like, New York, I think Darius Slayton's out for the game with a hamstring injury. I know Tyrone Tracy came back. That's cool and all, but I just don't think they have enough on the outside, really. I mean, it's just Wan'Dale Robinson at this point. Theo Johnson is a cool tight end or whatever. I think Philly, honestly, probably. I think this kind of seems like a get-right game for Philly, honestly. Like, to just kind of get the offense, like, going again, get it back on track. Like, just get AJ Brown involved, Devontae Smith, get Saquon Barkley going. Are we giving scores too?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have Philly winning 28-17.
I like how Brandon said that's cool and all. He's a cool tight end. That was hella passive aggressive towards the Giants. I like it though.
I pretty much agree with what Brandon said. I think the Giants are dog shit. I don't care if they're at home. I don't care if they're in Philly. I don't care if they're playing in Australia. They're going to be junk. So it's a primetime game. This is where everything goes to shit. I think the Giants' implied point total is like 17, and that's too many. So I'm going to go 27-13 Philly. Saquon runs all over them.
Most optimistic Giants fan ever.
Can you tell that I'm a Giants fan from that analysis?
That's hilarious.
See, I like young quarterbacks in this spot coming off a Sunday game going to Thursday. And the fact that it's a divisional rivalry game should be close. The Eagles, as we've seen every single week of the season, they don't try to do anything explosive. They don't try to like open up their playbook at all. You can beat the Giants just doing that. So though I do think Jackson with an X dart is still gonna play well, he might scramble around and put the fear of maybe not God, but I don't know, the fear of someone in the Eagles. Nick Sirianni doesn't lose these games to lesser teams at all. So I do think it's going to be a little closer than what Brandon and Tim have. But I don't think the Eagles will necessarily have any problems. And if they do, it's because they're just not opening their playbook and they're just trying to get out of this game with their hands on the wheel at 10-2 and just win. So I could see something like 21-16.
So I have this game 30-19, and it's because I think Saquon's going to have his first 100-yard rushing game of the season. He's played the Giants one whole time in his career because he sat out the last game of the year when they played the Giants, and he went 17 for $176 and a touchdown. I think that this needs to be a get-right game for Saquon and not just the offense. He hasn't looked great this season. And if the Eagles are going to be the team that they want to be, he's going to have to be at least very good. We thought that there could be a chance for him to step back this year and not have run for obviously 2,100, but I did think he had the possibility of going for 1,400. It looks like he's going to struggle maybe to get over 1,000 at the pace he's at right now. But I do think that Saquon's going to get going. You're going to see an explosive run, and you're going to see an offense that's going to gel because of Saquon Barkley. I got this 30-19. All right. So we got our picks in. We got the NFL talk in. This has been the Warner Brothas Podcast. Kyle, Timmy, Brandon, and myself, Keenan. Rate, subscribe all over on YouTube. We've got on TikTok and Instagram, all at Warner Brothas Podcast. Appreciate everybody who's ever commented and all that great stuff. We appreciate it. Keep it coming, and we'll be seeing you guys again very soon.